So I did one of these videos last year and I was going to leave well enough alone, but I did notice some subtle changes that were made to this event, and I wanted to circle back and provide a little more clarity on what to expect. I'm talking about none other than the yearly Rockstar Halloween Extravaganza, also known as the Slashers event. Now, I will go over the particulars of this event, but the main focus of this video is to provide you with a little more help on where to go to find these slashers. There's a total of 5 different characters you may encounter, and although there's a bunch of maps available online, my personal favorite is GTAWeb.eu, which I'll drop the link below, the maps themselves are pretty generic, meaning they only provide you with a general area. And as you're seeing here, the area can be pretty large. So my focus today is to show you the exact location where I was able to find each of these different slashers. Obviously, this doesn't guarantee you'll find them here, but it does provide you with definitive proof that they were found here. At the very least, it gives you a proven starting point. By far, the biggest concern from the feedback on the first video was that people were unable to get any slashers to spawn. And I will admit, it does seem to be hit or miss. I'm not sure why Rockstar put such limiting time constraints on the slasher event. If it was me, I'd have these things spawning a lot more regularly. They're fun, they definitely put you in the Halloween mood, and they're not terribly bothersome. You can easily just run away and they'll quietly just despawn. So yeah, I'm not sure why Rockstar makes these interactions so rare. Alright, so here's what you need to know. As I mentioned, there's a total of 5 different slashers you'll encounter. There's the Clown, the Psycho, the Driver, the Sackslasher, and the Clone. And you can only encounter these characters between the in-game time from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. And this is something that is relatively new. In years past, the spawning time started at 9 p.m. So not only are these characters generally rare to spawn, Rockstar has further shortened the time in which they can spawn. You must also be in a session for at least 16 minutes. And to be clear, you can be in any session. Public, private, invite only, etc. The key here is you have to be active for 16 minutes. Remember, if you're like me and use the respawning location to fast travel to different areas on the map, each time you start a new session, your time resets. For me, I always tend to forget this. If you're lucky enough and do come across a slasher, you will have to wait another 15 minutes before getting the opportunity for another to spawn. Next, you have to remember to keep your character in free roam, meaning you can be inside a building or in a mission. You also must be on foot or in a normal vehicle. You can't be in any aircraft, boats, weaponized vehicles, or special vehicles. Alright, let's get into it. First, the Clown. As you can see, the Clown will spawn basically anywhere in the city. However, my location of choice is right here. It's in the South Los Santos area. I've gotten good results with this location. As luck would have it, it's located right near my nightclub on PC, which, by the way, for whatever reason, I seem to get more frequent encounters when I'm playing on PC rather than console. I'm not sure why this is, but definitely something to keep in mind. Also, another tip I usually use when looking for a slasher is simply join one of your business organizations. I usually just join as a CEO, wait a little bit, then retire, wait a little bit, and then repeat. Usually this is a good trigger and enough to spawn the character. So with the Clown and all the other slashers, they only have melee weapons, but they have off-the-chart health pools that allow them to take quite the beating. You cannot utilize the up and atomizer, but you can use a stun gun. There is a small caveat to this, which I'll get to shortly. You can obviously play around with your weapons of choice, but if you want to get serious about elimination, I would recommend either the assault shotgun or the minigun. Okay, next is the Psycho. And as you can see in the map, there's a total of 4 different areas they can spawn. For me though, and what I recommend, always try to hang out here. It's in the Rockford Hills area and it's a little east of the golf course. I've had really good luck in this general area. For the Psycho, it's similar to the Clown, only they're now wielding a baseball bat instead of a knife. Now, for all the slashers, you'll notice they spawn when you hear a distinct noise or sound effect. For instance, when the clown appears, you'll hear a honking of a horn. When the psycho appears, you'll hear some ominous laughing. Regardless of the sound though, you'll also get a red dot appearing in the minimap, letting you know that you have indeed uncovered a slasher. Another tip I want to add in here is if you're having difficulty getting a slasher to spawn, I would also try stealing whatever the closest vehicle is. Remember, it has to be a normal vehicle, and just drive away a little and then come back. You don't have to go far, just travel like 2 or 3 blocks away and then come back to the area. This, I find, also helps trigger the encounter. Next up is the driver. For this one, the 2 areas are quite small and localized. For me, I've always found the driver when I'm at the north location near Redwood Lights track, in this general area here. The driver is quite unique because A, he's on fire, and B, this is the only slasher I was able to successfully use the up and atomizer on. And I'm not sure why. For the driver, because he's on fire, you need to be careful you don't get too close, for obvious reasons. One thing I do want to mention here is that no matter what slasher spawns, you are on a limited time constraint. If you or the slasher do not die, the slasher will automatically despawn after 5 minutes. I'm saying this now because for the driver, after the initial confrontation, he just takes off and begins to run. I got lucky here because he got hung up on a little cliff, but if you're enjoying just running after him, you need to remember this. After you've done a bunch of these, you'll notice that it's more fun just playing around with them, which is fine, but again, you only have 5 minutes. Okay, next we have the Sackslasher. This one is my personal favorite, simply because of the Friday the 13th Jason reference. For this one, I usually head here, just north of the Alamo Sea. It seems to always spawn when I'm traveling somewhere along this road. The Sackslasher, at least in my experiences, is by far the most immune when it comes to enemy fire. This thing is going to take quite the beating before it dies, so definitely keep this in mind. I also want to mention here, and I'm not sure if it's coming through in these videos, I've had more luck getting these slashers to spawn when it's almost daylight, meaning it's at the end of their spawn time, usually between 4:30 and 5. Again, I'm not sure why this is, but yeah, just some subtle hints to keep in mind when trying to get these things to show up. Alright, the last slasher is going to be the clone, or doppelganger. This will be an exact replica, or clone, of your character. The good news is that the clone can appear anywhere on the map. The bad news is that it's kind of a unicorn, for some. Meaning, on top of the already sparse slasher encounters, this one is going to be even sparser. According to Rockstar though, they're saying the clone has a 50% chance to spawn in any of the existing spawn areas instead of the regular slasher. For me, it's kind of hit or miss. Last year I didn't recall seeing a lot of any slashers, let alone the clone. However, yesterday I've already encountered the clown and, as you'll see here in a moment, my clone. So again, I'm not sure how Rockstar delegates the frequency of these characters, but it does seem to be different for different players. Okay, so as I said, yesterday I was testing out the abduction play on the UFO. I wasn't sure if Rockstar was going to introduce it this week or next. I don't know about you, but it's been very confusing trying to understand what's actually dropping on a week-to-week basis this month. There's only been like one post on Rockstar's Newswire for week 1. And since then, I've been relying on third-party resources on Twitter, which I've noticed vary depending on who you're following. Anyway, short story long, no. Abductions are not available this week. So, back to the clone. You'll see here that after checking out the UFO, I decided to land near the location where I typically find the Sackslasher. And lo and behold, my clone shows up, which definitely reinforces what Rockstar said earlier. My advice to everyone wanting to get the clone is just simply go to the 4 locations I reviewed earlier, and you'll either get the slasher known for that area, or you'll get your clone. It's going to be 50-50, just like Rockstar said. If you received a normal clone for that area, just wait for the 15-minute cooldown and try it again. Chances are the next spawn will be your clone. Okay, so the cool thing about the clone is that it mimics your movement, and that it actually looks like you. So yeah, same as a majority of the other slashers, it's impervious to the up and atomizer, but susceptible to the stun gun. Still, all in all, very cool. Alright, so that's it, my friends. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video and want to help out, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and let me know what you think. I'm curious about everyone's frequency experience with these characters. Has anyone else encountered a slasher this week? And if you did, by any chance, was it your clone? If so, drop a comment below and let everyone know. Until next time, be happy, be well, be safe, my TV, the one Maestro.